Hi, okay, so today I want to continue some of my story and keep talking about my story. Okay, so if I can remember where we were, I had lived in a constant state of suffering for 3 years, millisecond to millisecond, second to second. It just never ended. Okay, so around the 3 year mark, I started to get some sense of hope for healing. Okay, days. I had recorded my levels. I don't know how far into this I want to get, but I started to see days where I could function and I could feel feelings. I could feel love. I could feel joy. I could go from morning to night and actually function. The pain was less. I could withstand the pain. I started to feel more humanness come back. So during this whole time, the first 3 years I was completely stuck in survival mode. Okay, so when you're in this mode, it's really hard to see anything else. It's hard to see it's just hard to see the forest through the trees, what they would say. Okay, so you don't know what's working, you don't know what's helping, you're just doing everything you can to survive. You're in survival mode and you're in constant fight or flight, which is actually keeping you in a sick state as opposed to a healing state. But you can't help it because that's just what your body has to do at that point when you're in total survival mode. Okay, so this is in between years 3 and 5 is when I would say the bulk of the major portions of healings were taking place, although I couldn't feel it because there was still considerable amount of pain, suffering on and off, good days, bad days. And then more recently, years 5 to 6 was, bigger gains, more healing taking place. And there's several things that I learned along the way. But when you're in deep suffering and when you're so sick and when you're chronically ill and your nervous system is shut down and you're, you can feel it in your blood, in your bones, in your brain, in your nervous system. You have autoimmune conditions and responses. You have gut dysfunction. You have cognitive and brain dysfunction. Your organs have been failing you when you've had kidney, liver, lung, all these different kinds of heart damages going on. It's very hard to do anything but feel helpless and hopeless and just search for this survival mode. So you're in a serious survival mode, right? You just want help. And so this is my cute little dog. Oh, doesn't he just make your just a little heart melt? I know. Yes, I love you, Pixie. Okay. So, some of the things I learned was when you're in this mode, you cannot see the emotional. You don't really have the bandwidth cognitively to focus on your emotions or your spiritual. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Safety is first, and until you stabilize or feel safe, until you are out of constant fight or flight and your nervous system calms down and your organs start to work properly again, and you can start to function and regain a foothold in health back, then you're living in this level. And all that you can really work with at this point is the physical, okay? I don't think that any of the emotional and spiritual and mind-body connections and all these different therapies and all these different things that you do to try to help you work. Because I tried them in that state, they didn't work, and then I tried them years later in a certain state, and they did help. So I think when you're in that state, they can't help. You need to sort the physical first. And so when I'm looking back, I can definitely say that dialing in your diet, making sure that you are eating whole, nutritious foods from the earth, cutting out the major allergens and the major inflammatory food responses that are going to hurt your body is a good idea. You definitely want to flood your body with nutrition. juicing, smoothies, lots of soups, stews, bone broths, anything that's good, fresh, whole, from the earth. And don't get caught up too much in specifics of diets, because you need to get your nutrition. You need to have as many whole foods as you can from the earth, and you need to cut out everything bad and the top allergens of foods like eggs, dairy, corn, gluten, sugar. These types of foods you need to eliminate at the beginning and just focus on real, nutrient dense, nourishing foods that are going to give your body the nutrition it needs to heal, because your body is working hard to repair organs and mitochondria and cell damage, and it's really working hard to repair, and you need to respect that and give it the nutrition that it needs. You also need to focus at this stage on supplements. You don't just want to throw all kinds of supplements at the board, and you have to be careful what kind of supplements you take, because so definitely there's fillers in them and allergens in some of the supplements. So, but you do want to be taking a good amino acid, an essential amino acid complex. You want to be making sure that you're getting your methyl B vitamins, a good B complex, but you do need to be careful with Bs. Bs are stimulating and they can increase anxiety. Same with magnesium, it's stimulating and it can increase anxiety. So you want to be able to just go to your doctor or and run whatever free testing that you can get for your levels. You can also do a SpectraCell micronutrient test and find out your exact levels, or you could do a organic acids test, which will also tell you a lot. But at this stage, when you're in, when you're in deep healing, when you are severely compromised on every level, bedridden, non-functional, when you're in this level, you just need to be doing the basics, and you need to be covering your basics with a good full spectrum methyl B vitamin. You want to get your amino acids. You want to take I just want to think of what the best ones were. Some fish oil, right? Some good healthy fats for the brain with food. You want some coconut oil, ghee, butter, lard, olive oil, avocado oil. You definitely want some good fats, the fish oil in your brain, right? Because if you're having any kind of neuropathy or any kind of cognitive dysfunction, you definitely need these healthy fats to rebuild, right? You need to rebuild your myelin sheath and your cells in your brain. So you definitely want to make sure that you're getting enough. And I've got tons of food videos, so go back and look. But that's just really important to dial in at this stage of healing. As well as making sure that you're not deficient in any nutrients. You definitely want to get your minerals. Minerals are super important. So you can take something like a longevity mineral, and just add it to your smoothie or your water, and just take a teaspoon of that a day. You could also take some Celtic or Himalayan sea salt, a 1/4 teaspoon, and put it in your water, your liter of water, and sip on that during the day. That will give you some high quality minerals as well, because you just want to make sure your body's working so hard that it needs to be flooded with vitamins and minerals, amino acids, and anything essential for the body to heal and repair, right? That only makes sense. So you definitely want to be getting all of that you can, and not to be going on crazy elimination diets at this point, because that will hurt you. Your body needs all the nutrients and everything available to it that it can use for healing, because it's using it up at a rapid pace. The next thing that you need to want to do at this stage that helps with healing is dialing in your sleep. It's very important that we're getting enough sleep at this stage. 12 hours a day would be ideal. If you can't do that, you definitely need to be getting 8, preferably 10 hours a day. Go to bed at 9 o'clock. If you're getting up at 6, that would be, a minimum requirement. 9:30 if you're getting up at 6:30. Those would be a minimum requirements. 10 if you're getting up at 7, and longer if you can. Naps, if you need to nap. Don't be afraid of sleep. You also need to watch your computer use at this point. Any EMFs and the EMF activity will just ramp up your system. You want to be shutting off your power at night and shutting down as much electromagnetic garbage in your field frequencies as possible, and shielding your eyes from a lot of blue light at night, because we definitely want to be able to sleep. So using your blue blocking glasses, For vitamins as well, you want to be taking a good vitamin D3K2 complex. You probably need to heal your gut, so going on a gut healing diet such as GAPS or the SCD diet or Whole30 or GAPS AIP autoimmune protocol for a paleo autoimmune protocol would be essential at this point, as well as taking a lot of collagen, bone broth, glycine, aloe vera, things that can build up the gut lining. There's a product called Restore from Zach Bush. All of these things will help aid. You may need to take some hydrochloric acid to help break down your food, as well as digestive enzymes. You probably want to take probiotics to increase your gut flora. These are just some basics, except if you have SIBO, you want to be careful of probiotics. So you definitely want to build your gut. That's one of the things that you'll need to focus on in this early stage, getting a lot of high quality, nutrient dense nutrition, cutting out the junk electromagnetic frequencies, focus on your sleep, getting outside as much as you can so that you can get your fresh air, grounding to the earth, practicing things like breathing, meditation, or yoga. Also getting walking outside as much as you can. You don't want to overstimulate your nervous system, but you definitely want to just a gentle pace. You don't want to use up all your energy at this point for exercise though. Your body needs it to heal. So these are gentle walks and they're gentle exercises. They're just things to get you outdoors and to get your lymphatic system moving and your body moving. Just small things so that the blood and the fluids can circulate. And you can circulate and start to detox at a very small level. Lots of water, tons of water. You want to be flooding your body with water. And again, add a little pinch of sea salt so you don't become mineral deficient. And these are the types of basic things that you can only do at this level. When I was in this level, the emotional work, the spiritual work, although important, didn't help me and probably isn't going to help you when you're at that level, because it's just like almost like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the hierarchy of healing. When you're chronic, you need different things than when you're actually healing. And it's funny, the spiritual and emotional work actually will push you further along later in the process and be one of the most fundamental parts of healing and will actually make more of a difference than anything. But at this stage, it may not help you even 1%. So there's no point in focusing your efforts on it. You might as well do all the physical. The second biggest thing, once we got all that and we are able to start putting together a little bits of health here and there, is that we are going to want to start, and this is from my experience, focusing on the next things that are causing illness, which is detoxing. We want to get our metals down. We want to get all the gut parasites, yeasts, fungus, bacteria, all of these things we want to start to hone in on. And this is where we want to get really specific with the testing. Again, we don't want to do it too early because we don't want to cut things out that are vital to us building up our systems and just being able to give our body the raw materials it needs to actually get a foothold onto healing. If you do it too early, you won't get that foothold because you're eliminating too much. But in the second stage of healing, you're going to want to focus on getting the right tests to test exactly what is going on in your gut, so that you can start to kill pathogens. I'm against all medical, obviously at this point, interventions. So I use all natural and herbal and food and all kinds of different therapies that don't include drugs. So you are going to want to do some protocols, and it might be too fast, and you're going to work your way up from simple detox protocols to more complex detox protocols in this phase of healing, as well as getting rid of parasites, getting rid of fungus, bacteria, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. There's a lot going on in our small intestine. We want to repopulate with lots of bacteria, but we need to get out the bad guys in this phase, right? We also want to focus on detoxing our metals. This is a serious complication in most neurodegenerative diseases, like anything from autism, behavior, mood disorders, mental health disorders, all the way up to Alzheimer's, MS, Parkinson's, all these diseases have infections and have metals at their core. I've seen it enough times over and over now that truly the people who are healing from the most complex diseases are getting their most biggest results from infection clearing, infections that you don't even know that you have, microscopic type infections, retroviruses, and so these are the types of things that we really need to focus on in the second stage of healing. So in the first stage, we're just getting our diet dialed in. We're taking care of the nutrient deficiencies. We're giving our body the raw materials. We are really focused on just getting our sleep, our grounding, our fresh air, our lifestyles dialed in, and just focusing on breathing techniques and getting calm. And the second one, we're really focused on getting to the bottom of our gut problems, our pathogens, our viruses, our bacterial overgrowths, our fungal overgrowths. All of these play a huge, major cause in chronic diseases and major diseases and, life-threatening, everything from MS, Parkinson's, ALS, autism. The people who are healing from these things are doing so by reducing the metals through major protocols and getting the viruses and the retroviruses and all out of their system. Okay, so this is where it becomes complicated because you have to go slow, you have to work higher, you can't give up. I mean, these things are tricky. There's a lot of different protocols. I'm going to go over that in a whole bunch of videos. I'm still working on those because, again, you go from the simple to the complex as much as you can push your body without having a major relapse or crash. And then in the third state of healing, and within that second state, you can start to bring in some mind-body techniques. You can start to bring in EFT tapping and some acupuncture and massage therapy and relaxation exercises and TRE exercises, trauma release therapy. I have videos about all of these on this channel, so go check them out. All of these different mind, body, and emotional and gadgets and gizmos and PEMF therapy and light therapy and sound therapy and all of these different techniques, hyperbaric oxygen, ozone therapy, enemas, all these different things come in sort of in the second set of healing, which is the major, like, we have to fix what's going on and we have to get right down to the root of it. Okay. And then the third stage of healing is the emotional work, the mind-body connection. It's releasing trauma. It's really dealing with the underlying emotions, journaling, letting go, releasing work. There's a lot of trauma work that needs to be done at this stage. There's a lot of emotional mind-body connection work. In the end, it's most people's minds that are healing them and not the physical. Even though the physical is important, I've done more recently a lot of videos on the mind-body connection and how we can make headway. But again, if you're trying them too soon in the first phase of your healing and your illness and your shutdown and your body, it's just not going to work, and you may give up on these too soon. You can start to bring them in the second phase of healing later in the second phase of healing. So for me, the first phase of healing, and I didn't know all this then, so I did all three of these all the time, but would have been the first 1 to 3 years for me. The second phase of healing would have come from years 3 to 5, and the third phase of healing come from years 5 onward. And that is really the core, the emotional work, all the release, the trauma, the emotional exercises, the enlightenment work, all the figuring out, like who you are, who is this sickness, what is this sickness, where it's coming from, the sort of deep reflection, underlying work that needs to get done in order for you to truly manifest healing and truly heal. So these are kind of the three, I would say, phases of healing, and it is easy to do different ones in different spots of your healing and not make much headway. It's also easy to get caught in phase 2 forever, where you are constantly trying gizmos, gizmo, gadgets, gizmos, going from one diet to the next diet, to this protocol, to the next protocol, to dialing your supplements, to figuring this out, to testing, to more testing. It is very, very easy to get caught up in this phase of healing and never get out of it. And it's very easy to get the wrong protocols and stay on them too long. It's very easy to not find the proper protocols and to not really get down to the root of the problem, to sort of get to the root of the problem, to dance around the root of the problem, but not really be killing the viruses, the infections, the retroviruses, the fungal infections, the getting out the metals, and these are very tough protocols to do right. You really need to spend money in this section, and you really need to do it properly, and it's easy to dance around other things like different diets and gut healing and supplements and protocols and all these different things, but you need the expert, and you need to get these things out of your system at a spot that you feel stable enough that your brain can process and eliminate these things out of your body. And detox them out. And then you need to build back up again the whole way. You're still keeping your foundations of nutrition and sleep and exercise, and you're building those things up. You're building more walking, more exercising. So I just want to give you that quick overview in my story here, and my goal is to just lay it all out there, what I know, what I've learned, what I'm learning, what I know for sure, what works, what doesn't, in these videos for free, because I've spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to heal myself, and I really feel like I have a huge knowledge and a huge amount to give away, and I just want to help. So I'm giving it to you, and you can do what you want with it, but please remember these stages of healing, and if something isn't working for you, remember it just might be not be your time to do that part of the protocol yet. And to look at the big picture. It's very hard. We really get stuck, right? We can't see the forest through the trees. We're really stuck in when we're in chronic illness, and when we're in pain, and when we're in suffering, and when we're in depression or anxiety or mental illness, or any kind of physical illness, or pain in our body, digestion problems, asthma, allergies, vibrating, tingling, all these sensations. But I do find that unfortunately, okay, here's the thing. There's no magic answer. There is no, I wish there was. I searched high and low. I was determined that I was going to find the magic answer to cure me. Like something out there was going to do it, turn the switch, and I never found it. And I tried everything. I mean, you can go back and see what I tried. Everything. And, I spent so much money, and it's easy to just keep going from one thing to the next. You really need to test in this section. You really need to find out what the issues are, and you really need to eradicate them. And it's a long process, a couple of years of work. It's dedication. It's going slow. It's ramping up slowly. These detox protocols can set you back if you're not careful. And so it's important that you move slowly. It's important that you look at the big picture here and trust, starting to work on our trusting work. We have to release our trauma. We have to build back up our trust to the universe and to our own bodies, be able to listen to our bodies, being able to use our intuition again, connect with ourselves. These are all final stages of healing. These are all important. And when you put them all together in this package, that's when sort of the more real healing can come in, and you can start to feel gains and corners being moved and symptoms falling away in life, taking shape once again. So in my sort of first stage of healing, which I talked about in the last video, it's just fight or flight. It's just survival. And you need to tie on a rope. You need to tie on with both hands. You need to hold on, and you need to trust that this phase will end, that you can do it. You can get through that phase. It's survival. You're running, you're fighting, you're mobilizing, you are doing everything that you can to survive, and that is okay. You are good enough in that stage to do what you need to do focus on the things I just mentioned in that phase. It will be very helpful for you. But the most important is getting your will to live, your determination to beat this, to really hold on if you have to with both hands and say, I will not go down like this, right? I am going to reemerge. I am going to heal myself. To give yourself a break, to love yourself, to be kind to yourself, and to trust me that this phase will end. No matter, it seems like it will never end. I held on second by second for 3 years. That is a long time, and it seemed like it was never going to end. I didn't think it would end, and it did end. It did end, and it does end for everybody. Everybody that I have spoken to who's gone through this, it has ended, and you need hope in this stage, and faith and trust, and you need to hear these stories and to listen to these stories and know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, because it is at this stage where people, have committed suicide, and people choose to give up, and people go back on the medications, or people, don't believe that there's light beyond this, or don't have the energy or the effort or the support or whatever, and you need to find that, okay? And I'm here if anybody needs me, if you need to email me, whatever. I just want you to know. In the second stage, it is very challenging because you see some forward momentum. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 1 step forward, 3 steps back. Right? It's a very challenging, and it's very hard to keep your hope alive in this point, because you get a little bit of hope, you lose it. You get hope, you lose it. And you need to keep going, keep investigating, keep testing, keep trying, keep doing everything that you can, keep doing the protocols, keep seeing what's working for your body, listening to the stories, researching, watching these videos. I'm hopefully going to cut out some of the, the BS and get down to what works in this section, because it's a very long section and it can be years. You can be stuck in this section for 2, 3, 5, however many years. This is the section, it's the make or break section, okay? And you need to hang on to hope. You need to keep looking for the hope, keep looking for the stories, keep doing the work. You need to do the work every single day. And then the last phase of healing, you really need to look inside. You need to focus on the emotions. You need to focus on the trauma work. You need to focus on releasing. You need to do the forgiveness work. You need to do the, healing your deepermost shame and guilt and fear and, the parts that live inside you after this traumatic illness, and really get down to the bottom of who you are, what you believe, what you want, and learning how to trust and to feel safe once again in your body and in this world. And so that's a lot of work to be done. And it's the most important work. And that's why I've been focusing a lot lately on this in my videos. Not to say that the physical part isn't important. It is important. It's all important. And I'm going to go back to talking about physical soon. But I just wanted to sort of give you an overview of what happens as you start to heal, and what works, and sort of what to stay focused on. And I will hopefully do more, update this story as, hopefully in the end, it's going to be a very triumphant ending to this story. But for now, I give you what I can, and I impart the wisdom that I can to you, and I give you the warning, the very true, passionate warning from my heart, from me to you, saying if you are or considering taking psychiatric drugs, if you have been on them, come off them, been on them, come off them, can't figure out what is wrong with you, if you're being pushed to take them, if you are a parent and not sure whether to give them to your child, if you are in any way thinking of going on these, staying on these, upping your dose, doing whatever you have with these drugs, I urge you to listen to this entire my story. You can find it on this channel. You can find it under my playlist. It's my story from beginning to end. I urge you to listen to it so that you know the dangers. You can see the dark side, what can happen, and I urge you to find another way, because I I want you to learn from me. I want my story to be the only story. I don't want anyone else to have to go through this to learn this lesson. So I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you what I know. I'm giving you my truth. And that is find another way. Heal emotional problems at an emotional level. And we need to heal physical problems at a physical level. These drugs are not the answer. And they can do so much more harm than good. I am a worst case scenario. I was a casualty. And hopefully you can learn from my lessons. I'm here for you. I want to tell you not to give up and not to give up hope. I want to tell you it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You are loved. You're okay. And I know if you just hang on, believe in yourself, find that little piece inside you, that soul of yours that knows what your reason is and your will to hang on and what you're doing this for, I know that you will find your way through. I'm sending you tons of love, and I will continue to post videos and update my journey, my progress, and everything that does and doesn't work. And I still haven't posted the bulk of, all the protocols and things, and I will get to that very soon.